Hi guys, it's me, the Dweeb. I didn't podcast last week, as you guys who listen know, because honestly, I thought that the Housewives were so boring. I had like absolutely nothing to say. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. And honestly, again, this week I wasn't very impressed. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too hard on them. I've been spoiled with previous housewives and I'm just bored. And I'm talking about OC and Dallas because those are the two that are on right now. Yes, I know Potomac has been on. The reason I don't talk about Potomac right now is because I really just started watching Potomac like last season 3, but not even really enough to like really talk about it. And then I started watching season 4 pretty heavily, but I started this podcast like middle of season 4 and beginning, middle. And I just haven't talked about it because I just don't feel like I know enough yet to really have a judgment on them. I will say the stuff about Michael is insane and crazy, and I definitely think he did it. Actually, I kind of know he did it. I have a source, but whatever. So yeah, I'm mostly, as always, talking about Dallas and Orange County. Also, if you made it through my entire podcast last time I podcast, bless you, because I even turned it off. I was so bored, but whatever. So this week I'm going to talk about the Housewives a little bit. And I'm also going to talk about a few other things that have happened in pop culture news, and I watched this crazy true crime documentary the other day. Crazy. Okay. First, let's get into the Housewives a little bit. They're both still on their fucking trips. Like, I'm so over that. I need them to go home. They both of their trips have been so boring. OC has been Mirrorball, some like retreat thing that Oprah loves, which is cool. And then Dallas has been in Mexico. We'll start with OC. So they're still in Mirrorball, and this week's episode starts off with Vicky claiming, well, I guess it left off last week, and then it starts off this week with Vicky claiming that she knows that Kelly can't go to her daughter's school, and turns out that's not true. There's even like footage of her at her daughter's school when she did that musical play, and Kelly was talking about how she doesn't understand theater kids, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I liked how Kelly was able to call Michael and be like, listen to what Vicky said. And then he was like, yeah, that's not true. That's not true. I think that they have a as healthy as it can be, post-divorce situation. So that's good. There was a lot of makeups and then again breakups in both the past 2 episodes of OC, last week's and this week's. Last week's, I mean, like all it was people confronting like other people, and I don't know, that it was a lot. I will say the last 2 episodes, my bangs are getting really long and they're kind of in my eyes. I need to go get them trimmed. Side note. So anyways, I don't know. I didn't love it. There, like I said, there's a lot of makeups and breakups. Kelly calls Shannon about the Vicky situation, and then proceeds to talk to Tamra and Vicky, and gets really crazy and messy, and she's calling Vicky a pig and all that fun stuff. And then Vicky's like, is this who you want to be friends with, Tamra? And Tamra is another issue in her own. Tamra is her own segment. Like, she is such a mess. I'm so ready for Tamra to go. I haven't liked Tamra for many seasons, maybe ever. I don't I don't like her. She's a huge pot stirrer, which we need to a extent, but it's almost painful. I watched season 5, I think it was. Was it season 5? No, season 9. Wow. Season 9. Not long ago. And that's the season where Tamra really gets like called out and confronted due to Lizzie. Like Lizzie is very, Tamra said this, Tamra said that, da 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 da. I loved Lizzie. Very sad she was a 1-season housewife. I really would love for her to come back. So Tamra, yeah, obviously had the hard season in season 9 and got called out a lot for being a pot stirrer, but then she comes back and, she does the whole Jesus stuff, which, okay. And then now I just feel like she's again back to her pot stirring ways and I'm over it. And I hated that she was wearing a sweatshirt that said kindness is magic for a couple reasons. One, I hate shirts with quotes on them, like feminist or whatever. I can't stand it. I think it's like the tackiest shit in the world. Whatever. But also Tamara is like the least kind housewife ever. So I've thought that was both funny and painful to look at. They go on a bee tour this episode, and Tamara is trying to set Shannon up with the beekeeper guy, which I thought was kind of odd. I don't know. Let's see. Gina and Emily finally talk. They've been having a lot of issues, as we know, this season with Gina and her DUI and her whole court situation, and Emily wanting to go to Vegas and asking Gina to come, and Gina being like, I can't go to freaking Vegas right now. Like, I have a DUI on my hands and a court case, and I have 3 children and a divorce and da-da-da-da. That's like the only smart thing I feel like Gina has done is not go to Vegas. She definitely shouldn't have. But then to Kelly's point, or I'm sorry, why do I keep calling Gina or Emily Kelly? I don't know. To Emily's point, she's still like drinking like pretty heavily and like in the back of a bus with Shannon, like she said, like whatever, like I don't care, whatever, drink if you want. I'm not mad about it, but I don't know. I just felt like yes, going to Vegas, not going to Vegas was a good idea, but also I just feel like maybe there's a few other things you could be doing too to like get your rep back, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but they finally talk. It's kind of messy. I am fully on Emily's side though. I feel really bad for Emily. I think that Emily, just in general, throughout her entire life, has had a really hard time being loved, if you will. Like her mom kind of was not the best mom, and then now she's married to the devil himself, and it's messy. And I feel like maybe Gina was the first person, not the first person, but maybe the only person recently to show her like affection and like love and that someone cares about her, like besides her children. Obviously, like her children are precious and love her, but so I feel like that's kind of where Emily is coming from. She's just kind of like, Emily said that she felt abandoned by Gina, and I get it. Like Gina is like becoming BFFs with Tamra and Shannon, and I just don't get it. Like to Kelly's point, they were very mean to her last season, and now they're like BFFs. And I get that Shannon has helped Gina like with her legal troubles, and yeah, they kind of have like a similar divorce story. So I get that they have like something to connect on now, but you shouldn't leave Emily like in the dust, like just like, okay, bye. Emily like has a lot of stuff going on too that she could really use a friend for. So I feel like Gina is a little bit like she's drinking the Kool-Aid and she's becoming a little bit of a mean girl. They do end up making up, if you will, and they're friends again, but I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts. I don't think it'll be a happy ending for long. Plot twist, as can I mean, plot twist. And yes, I just stuttered a bunch, and that is what it is. But plot twist, they are all at dinner now, and something gets brought up about Vicky's looks. I can't fully remember because I was on my phone not paying attention because I was honestly bored to tears. And anyways, Kelly and Vicky make up. Something gets brought up about Kelly's looks, and Vicky's looks, and Vicky's like, I don't think you're ugly. Or Kelly is like, I don't think you're ugly to Vicky. And they end up making up. It's like all it took was them telling each other that they were pretty, and they're best friends again. Not best friends, but they made up. Kelly mentioned that Vicky really hurt Jolie, and Vicky's like, no, I didn't hurt Jolie. And it's like, you can't say you didn't hurt someone if someone is saying you hurt them. Like, your feelings are valid. If Kelly feels that you hurt her daughter emotionally, which she did, then you did it. Don't say you didn't do it. It's like, I fucking hate that. Is such a peeve of mine when I or anyone else is like, well, I feel this way. And someone's like, well, just because you feel that way doesn't mean it's true. And it's like, but I fucking feel it. So deal with that. And you made me feel that way. So yeah. Okay. And that's just like, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, it's kind of cringy. I thought the makeup between Kelly and Vicky, but I guess I'm glad they made up. I don't think it's going to last very long, being that we've heard several different interviews between Tamra and Shannon, that they are currently in present time not speaking to Kelly. So obviously something else happens. Vicky hasn't really commented on if she's speaking to Kelly right now or not. She was actually on the Bravo Daily Dish podcast this week, and she didn't really mention much about her current relationship with Kelly. So I guess that's to be determined, but I don't think it's gonna last. Anyways, moving on to Dallas. Dallas, again, wasn't super impressed with the episode this week. I'm sorry to be so negative, but I wasn't. They're still in Mexico. I feel like this is one of the most boring housewife trips ever to be had, ever. And I think that's Carrie's fault. Like, I'm all for an agenda. I'm all for an itinerary, plans. I love it. If I could plan the rest of my life, I would. But she literally, like, has every second of this trip planned. Almost down to, like, when they can use the bathroom. Like, it is insane. And it's totally obvious that Leanne really just wants to sit by the pool and drink a margarita and be on vacation and maybe not talk to anybody, which is totally valid. That's kind of what I would want to do, minus the sitting by the pool thing. I just don't really like the outside. But anyways, yeah. So obviously the big thing about this trip has been, like, basically Leanne. Leanne's kind of the center of the drama in this trip. I think in a good way. I mean, I really love Leanne a lot, so I might be a little bit biased, but I'm totally on Leanne's side. I don't think she should have had to have roomed with Carrie if she didn't want to. I mean, what grown woman wants to have a roommate, especially if you have all of these rooms open? Like, it's not like they were, like, staying in, like, a small Airbnb. Like, they're at Carrie's, like, $1 million mansion getaway and plenty of rooms to stay in. So totally on the inside about that. I mentioned that before, like 2 weeks ago when all that drama was going down. And then, yeah, I just don't think Leanne wants her whole freaking life scheduled. And like I said, don't blame her. I like Carrie. Don't get me wrong. I think that Carrie is a good addition to the cast, but I do feel like this trip is overly planned. They're going to a polo match. I mean, for God's sakes, you're in Mexico. Get a taco and a margarita and sit down. Why are you going to a polo match? One, to begin with, at all, first of all. Two, with Cameron, I didn't even know they played polo in Mexico. I don't know. I don't know. So, what else happened this episode? Brandy and Cameron talked. Obviously, last week's episode, which I didn't podcast about, they got into an argument where Cameron called Brandy trash, and that's Brandy's trigger word, and da-da-da-da-da. So they're always kind of going back and forth. It's very obvious that Cameron just doesn't like Brandy. I feel like just deep down, I feel like Brandy is just one of those people that Cameron just doesn't like. Like we all have those people, or like you just look at them and you're like, you're not for me. And I feel like that is Brandy for Cameron. So anyways, we're dealing with their argument, the end of it, and they talk and they kind of come to a resolution, and then they go into the little sweat dome, I guess, and they become friends or whatever. So we'll, again, see how long that lasts. I love Cameron so much. I do think she's a little bit hard on people, but I love her. And it's solely because she's blonde and likes pink, and I'm blonde and like pink. So that's how shallow I am. Anyways, that's all I really have to say about both the Orange County and Dallas Housewives. Like I said, I really, the past 2 weeks have been like kind of making myself watch. I mean, obviously I get excited every Tuesday and Wednesday night, but then they actually come on and I'm just kind of like, kind of bored. Like I'm bored. Find myself on my phone. I find myself having to rewind because then something does happen and I wasn't paying attention. And I usually watch the episodes twice. Once for enjoyment and then the other for like actually taking notes. And both times I actually was just kind of like, snooze. Just snooze. Anyways, moving on to some things that don't have anything to do with Bravo, but do have everything to do with pop culture. A lot has kind of happened this week. I guess the first and biggest thing we'll talk about is the Kylie and Travis breakup. Yes, I said break up because they are broken up. I posted about this on Tuesday, the night that it broke, and I had so many people like come after me like, they are not broken up, they were just together, so much so that I like deleted the post. I was like, okay, I guess I'm wrong. And then I was like really pissed off at myself because it turns out I wasn't wrong. I was right. Yes, they're on a break, or they called it a break, but let's be fucking honest. If you are taking a break in your relationship, you are 5 minutes away from breaking up. I know that they've supposedly done this before and then they got back together and which also huge red flag. I don't know the full amount of time that they were together, but I guess like when they first got together, they like kind of had like a break or something. I don't know. And I just feel like if you are taking a break at the beginning of your relationship, it's probably not good. But whatever, they have Stormy and she's adorable. And hopefully all of that works out because that sucks to go through as a kid. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Kylie, I'm kind of and I don't know enough, I guess, to be like taking sides because we never know what goes on behind closed doors. But from what we do know, Kylie obviously accused Travis of cheating a while back, and they had, a little bit of a hiccup there. Whether or not he cheated, I don't fully know the answer to that. I don't think he did because they ended up getting back together, and I feel like Kylie's kind of like no nonsense. Like if he would have cheated and she would have like truly found out about it, then she would have been done. But I do think like even if that question like gets brought up, like obviously there's trust issues in the relationship, and that's poison. Trust issues, so hard to get over. But Kylie was seen dropping off friends at a studio that Tyga happened to be at. And for those of you who don't know, which I don't know why you wouldn't know this if you're listening to this, but Tyga is Kylie's ex-boyfriend who is also in the music industry. And yeah, but I guess it was kind of like her first real heavy boyfriend. And then they broke up, and not long after they broke up, her and Travis got together. And not long after they got together, they got pregnant, and then they had Stormy. So their relationship got pretty serious pretty fast. But yeah, she was seen in the same area as Tyga. And that hurts. And that, circling back, is why I'm kind of on Travis's side, because I just feel like if you're on a break and you really like don't know if, you know, it's going to be the end of a relationship or not, like don't go hang out with your ex unless you're like kind of over it. And then Kylie comes out and writes a tweet saying that she dropped off her friends at a studio. But what billionaire is driving her friends around to drop them off at a studio? Like, can you riddle me that? I don't think that's completely true, Kylie. I think you guys were having a girls' night. You were in your limo or whatever with your driver, which is totally cool. Not bashing that at all. Wish I had one. And you got an invite to go to a studio that Tyga was at, and you took it, and you got caught. I don't know. That I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Travis. I don't know. I just do. Travis, I feel like, has like this little like baby face too that I just kind of want to give him a hug and be like, it's gonna be okay. And then he opens his mouth and his teeth are really scary, but whatever. That's a different story for a different day. It's actually not a story at all. But yeah, so that's happened this week. The news broke Tuesday about it. They're broken up. Yeah. I hope they get back together. I liked them as a couple. And of course they have Stormy, and you know, that'd be great for her to have both of her parents together. Do I think they'll get back together? Not for a while. I think it's definitely over for the foreseeable future. I definitely think that they'll keep it cordial and be friends and have a healthy like co-parenting relationship. I don't think that, you know, anything major has happened other than, you know, they have trust issues in their relationship. I definitely think Travis is probably pissed off and super hurt that she was seen in the same vicinity as Tyga. I mean, I don't know what they were doing. I'm not saying that they were, you know, like flirting or anything like that. I don't know. That we don't know. But I would have some serious feelings about that if I were Travis. So as of right now, if I had to pick a side, it would be Travis's side, because I think that that's sad. Will that change? Maybe. Maybe next week I'll be singing a different tune. Maybe later today I'll be singing a different tune. You never know with what's going to come out. But like I said, as of now, that sucks. Another story about relationships that happened this week is Justin Bieber got married. Now you're probably thinking, didn't he get married like over a year ago? The answer to that is yes. Legally, he and Hailey got married September of last year, so 2018. But they just had their ceremony for the wedding this past Monday. So they are dragging it out as long as they can. A lot of celebrities were there, including Kylie, and that's kind of when the news really like became apparent that like her and Travis were not together, because Travis was also invited to the wedding, obviously, as Kylie's date, and he didn't come. And yeah, anyways, that's a different story. We've already talked about that. But anyways, they were married. Guests such as Kylie and Kendall and what's his name? Jaden Smith were there. All of those people, they're such good friends. Scooter Braun was obviously there, and his wife. A bunch of other people that I don't even freaking know were there, but big celebrity. I would say like a lot of B-list celebrities were there. Like you had your A-listers like Kendall and Kylie and all that stuff. And then I would say a lot of B-list celebrities were there. That's my opinion. But their pictures were super cute. They had like a little photo booth, which like if you don't have a photo booth at your wedding, you basically didn't get married nowadays. And it was all black and white, very chic, very cute. Really loved it. They took some really great pictures. I thought Hailey looked beautiful. I thought Justin looked like a 14-year-old, if you will. But hey, happy for him. Super great. Mazel tov. Whatever. So yeah, they're officially married again, if you will. And yeah, Also, I wanted to talk about Aaron Carter. And I know who would think I'd want to talk about Aaron Carter, but he has gone off the deep end. Watch as he dives in. He's in the shallow now. You're welcome. Anyways, so yeah, he is going through it. He recently, as of last weekend, got a face tattoo, which one of my followers on my Pop Culture Dweeb Instagram told me is actually Rihanna as Medusa. I thought it was just Medusa because the snake heads, whatever. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But it's Rihanna from a Vogue cover. Yeah, so interesting facts. But yeah, it's all down his face. Kind of can't really tell where his tattoo ends and his ear begins. Like, it's just kind of like a jumbled like mess. It's like it starts like up by his eyebrow and like goes to like his cheekbone. Like, it's huge. If you're getting a face tattoo, I feel like there needs to be measures that need to be legally taken before you're allowed to get a face tattoo. Like maybe some therapy. Maybe you have to like wait a couple weeks. I don't know. I feel like there's so many laws on like what you can and can't do as a woman with your body. You gotta wait a few weeks. You gotta make sure, like if you want, like, let's say you're pregnant and you don't want to be pregnant, you have to wait a while before you can make that decision for yourself. But if you want a face tattoo, you can just make that decision that day, hop in a chair and go. That to me seems odd. And I feel some type of way about it. I don't think that, yeah, I don't know. I guess if you're famous, face tattoos like don't really matter, like you're famous. But if you are a regular civilian, you probably shouldn't get a face tattoo. So kind of went on a deep dive there, but it's true. Okay, so also he has put out a Facebook post saying that his brother Nick Carter raped a 91-year-old woman. What? And he like tagged the FBI in it and everything. He was like, ooh. So I don't know. Lots of weird shit has been happening with Aaron Carter. Someone go get a conservatorship over that boy. Like, he needs some serious help. Anyways, I watched this crazy documentary this week too that I wanted to talk about. So I got this like Apple News notification about this story that I had not heard of. It's a year old. It happened August 13th of 2018. This guy named Chris Watts killed his entire family to be with his mistress. His family consisted of his wife, his two little girls who were 4 and 3, or maybe she was 2, almost 3. Anyways, very little girls. And his wife was pregnant 15 weeks with their son. And he killed them. And that's some crazy shit. And the way that he killed them, like, I got the notification and I'm obviously like super interested in true crime. I don't know. It's very interesting to me. So I read the whole article, learned all this information, was like, how did I not know about this story? The next thing I know, I'm on YouTube, like looking up news articles and all that, not news articles, but like news videos, news clips, of this story. And then I found this like hour-and-a-half documentary. It was like one of the first things that popped up. So if you type in Chris Watts on YouTube, it'll probably show up. It's like an hour-and-a-half documentary of like pretty much news and the court case, like as it was happening. It was very interesting. He got 5 life sentences, 1 life sentence for each of them, including himself. So his wife, 3 children, and himself. So he is going to be in jail forever. His mistress that he killed all of them for is now in the witness protection program, but it's rumored that, well, it's not rumored. It is unknown if she still has some contact with him, because he has said, well, first let me say he has a book coming out. A lady, I don't know her name. I should, but I don't. Is writing his book, and he is giving her the okay for it. She goes and visits him in prison, and he's written her letters about what has happened and da-da-da-da-da. So the book is called Letters from Christopher, and it's like actual like letters of him explaining to this author about the day that it happened, about days leading up to why it happened, life now, da-da-da-da. It seems very interesting. I honestly really, really want to read it. But I don't really want to buy it because like his face is like the cover of the book, and like, I don't know, I'm just like weird, and I'm just like, I don't really want like a picture of this man's face like sitting in my house. I'll like want to read it and then like immediately throw the book away, and that's like $20 wasted. So probably gonna hope that it comes out on Audible and just listen to it. Then I'll delete it, or it can just live in my phone. I don't care. But there's something about like his face, like a hard copy of his face being on my coffee table, that I'm just kind of like, that bothers me, because like he killed the shit out of those people. Like, oh my God. So, yeah. What he did, I mean, I'll just go ahead and give you a little bit of backstory about it. Like, what he did was he met this woman. They'd been dating for 2 months. Her name's Nikki. His name's Chris. Wife's name is Shanann, not Shannon, Shanann. And then he had 2 little girls, Celeste, I think is how you pronounce it, and Bella. Bella was 4. Celeste was 2 going on 3. Maybe she was already 3. I'm not sure. So he strangled and smothered them. So he strangled his wife and apparently drug her body out really early in the morning to his truck. And the children saw like him, well, also strangling the mom and then dragging her body out to his truck. And then he proceeded to kill the 3-year-old by smothering her. And then he proceeded to kill the 4-year-old after the 4-year-old had seen her mom and her younger sister die, which is crazy. And then he takes them to a oil field. I think that's where he worked as well. And he dug a shallow grave for his wife and unborn child, and just kind of dumped her in there. And that was really sad. And then he took his 3-year-old and dumped her in one oil tank, and took the 4-year-old and dumped her in a different oil tank. So like he didn't even want them to be together in death, which was like really hard to hear. Like, I don't know how you can be that evil. And the craziest thing is that like, I know like people are always like, well, what does a murderer look like? Like anyone technically can be a murderer, and that's really creepy. But yeah, he just looked like your normal dad. Like he literally just to look at him, you'd think he's just this guy, goes to work, comes home, takes care of his family. Not the case at all. Like, look him up. If you haven't heard of the story, seriously, like look it up. If you enjoy true crime at all, it is, it's a pretty crazy story. Anyways, so he obviously is getting questioned by the cops. He comes up with this lie saying that, Shanann killed the two girls, and then he killed Shanann out of self-defense. Obviously, that's a lie. He gets caught. He's now in jail. Both parents of him, or not of him, but like I guess okay. So his parents and her parents, the wife's parents, who's now gone, did not want him to get the death penalty because of their beliefs. Which okay. And I do think that sometimes maybe living your life in prison is more of a fair, if you will, sentence than just being dead. Because when you're dead, and you don't have to deal with anything. But like this man is like being kept in like solitary confinement. He has no air conditioning, they say. He just like sits in this like dungeon for like 23 hours a day. And that's exactly where he should be. So yeah. he, like I said, has 5 years, or not 5 years, 5 lifetimes in prison. So he will not get out. His dumbass did say, though, in one of the letters that if he did get out for some reason, he wants to go into ministry. It's like, no. That pisses me off so much. It's like, you killed your wife and your 2 living daughters and ultimately your unborn son, and you're going to go into ministry? That doesn't fly. That doesn't fly. But that's a heavy conversation for a different day. So whatever. Let's see. What else? Obviously, if you can't see, I went and saw Stassi AF live this week. It was super cute. If she is coming to a city near you and you like Bravo and you love Vanderpump, I definitely suggest you go. Get the tickets, make it happen, because it was a really good show. It was pretty quick, I will say. It was like an hour long. Bo is there. Her friend Taylor, whose last name I don't know, is there. She was really funny, though. She was like her opening act. It was great. It was really good. It was cute. I would say, like, if I had to describe it in one word, I would describe it as cute. But obviously, if you're going to Stassi's show, you're familiar with her and you're going for a reason. So if you have no idea who Stassi is, then I wouldn't go to her show because you're going to be like, huh, the whole time. But yeah, I went. I had so much fun. I have the t-shirt to prove it. And yeah, like I said, if you are in a city or around a city that she is coming to and you're like, I don't know, should I go see it? You should. If you're a fan at all, you'll definitely enjoy it. Her and Bo are really, really cute. They're like the cutest people ever. Anyways, I am kind of running out of things to say. I don't even have anything that, like, I don't get. I understand everything this week. Every single thing in the world, I get it. So I don't even have something that I don't understand. So I don't know. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little episode that had some other things in it. I really want to start incorporating a few other topics and not just do Bravo. That's kind of what I was planning to do when I started this podcast. And then I kind of went down a Bravo wormhole and it just became all about Bravo. But then I caught myself last week. Like I said, I listened to my episode and I was like, holy shit, I am so bored with my own words coming out of my own mouth. So yeah, took last week off, came back this week. I had some more information. Really hope you guys liked it. If you're not already, you should follow me on Instagram at the Pop Culture Dweeb. You can also follow me on Twitter at Dweeb. I honestly don't use Twitter that much. I'm just not a Twitter person. I used to be. Now I just don't really use it that much. But hey, if you want to follow me, I'll follow you and we can be Twitter friends. Also, you can watch this podcast on YouTube. You should definitely do that. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and a comment and make it nice. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give me 5 stars and leave a review. And again, make it nice. So yeah, I will be talking to you guys again soon, I'm sure. Have a great week, weekend, month, fall, whatever. Bye, guys.